Okay, hello guys. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So, kakaroon tayo ng konting discussion kahit maingay yung background natin. Ay, medyo maingay kasi dito sa tinitirahan ko. So, let me share my screen. At ang tatalakayan po natin ngayon ay patungkol sa iba't ibang klase ng forces at effects ng forces. Okay. So, types of forces. Ano nga ba yung mga iba't ibang klase ng forces? So, dito, kinakailangan yung maipaliwanag yung effect ng force kapag nag-apply tayo or na-apply yung force na yun sa isang object. So, these are objectives. Identify the different types of force. Conduct an experimental activity that will explain the effects of force in an object. Kaya ingin ng bata. Share ways on how to use force properly in everyday scenario. Okay, let me share my other screen. Wait lang, tab pala. Ayan, ang tagal naman ng PhET simulation. Still loading po. Still loading siya, so dito muna tayo. Okay? Mag-continue na lang tayo. Sayang yung time natin. Okay, balikan natin mamaya. What is force? Ano nga ba ang force? Force is a push or pull upon an object. It causes an object to speed up. It causes an object to slow down. It changes the way a rotating object spin around its axis. So yung motion, yung paggalaw, pwedeng mabilis, pwedeng mabagal. Or kung naglagay ka, nag-apply ka ng force, pwede siyang hindi gumalaw. Okay? So there are different kinds of forces. We have contact forces. These are forces that need to be in direct contact with the object in order to apply force on it. So first is applied force. It is applied force is transferred from a person or an object to another. So ito po yung example. For example, nagtutulak po kayo ng box or nagbubuhat po kayo ng sako at naghihila po kayo ng kariton. Yun po yung applied force. Next is normal force is exerted on an object when it is in contact with another object. For example, nakasandal lang kayo, nakapatong ng bola, or natutulog kayo sa bed. Yan po yung normal force. May force man tayong in-apply pero hindi siya gumagalaw. Okay? Stationary lang siya. Next is friction force. It occurs when an object moves or tries to move across a surface and the surface opposes the object's movement. So merong paggalaw. For example, when we rub our hands. So merong friction yan. Okay? So ito yung surface, for example, at ito yung object. Kung gumalaw yan, magkakaroon ng interaction yung dalawang object na yan. Yung surface ng object na pinapatungan nito isang object habang gumagalaw. Okay, nagkakaroon ng friction force. Okay. For example, running, driving a car, holding a coking can. Yan. So, next is air resistance force. It acts on the object as they travel through the air. Okay, this force will oppose motion but only factors in when objects travel at high speeds or have a large surface area. So, may kinalaman dito, ay may involvement po dito yung air. Okay, kaya nga tinatawag siya air resistance force. Yung force na galing, yung wind, o yung paggalaw ng molecules, yung air molecules at yung isang object. For example, yan, pag lumilipad yung eroplano or jet, nagpapalipad tayo ng tawag dito, saranggola at saka yung buhok, gumagalaw siya kapag may force, yung air force. May air force, yung force ng galing sa air, di ba? Yung wind, nag-oppose dun sa movement ng isang object, di ba? So next is tension force. Tension force passes through strings, cables, rope, or wires when they are being pulled in opposite directions. So paano ba ito? So kinakailangan ng medium dito. And then dalawang force sa magkabilang part noong medium. For example, yung rope. So yung dalawang force ay dumadalay doon sa isang string at yun yung nagpapagalaw doon sa rope or doon sa medium. Katulad nito. Yan nasa picture. Next are non-contact forces. These are forces that do not need to be in direct contact with an object in order to be applied. For example, yung weight natin, yung gravity, electricity, and magnetism. Yun po yung non-contact forces. So when we say gravitational force is a pulling force or force of gravity. It pulls everything toward the center of the earth. Yung best example nito, yung earth natin. Okay? Yung earth natin ay may gravity. So lahat tayo ay babagsak doon sa lugar. Ina-attract nila ng Earth's gravity yung living objects or non-living objects. Yan. Kaya hindi tayo lumulutang sa air, di ba? Kasi meron tayong weight. At yung gravity ng Earth. So life lesson. Force doesn't always apply to object or things. There are times where people in power force others to do things that are not good or go against their principles. What would you do if somebody who believe in forces you to do something that you think is bad? So sagutin nyo tong question na to. Okay? Kung sa akin naman, what would you do if somebody you believe in forces you to do something that you think is bad? So hindi ko na yun, hindi ko gagawin yun. Though na naniniwala ko sa kanya ay mahanga ako sa kanya, hindi ko gagawin yung mga bagay na hindi maganda. Di ba? Common sense. Okay, let's have an activity. Identify what type of force is acting on the following objects. Man sitting on a chair. Normal force. Dry clothes blown by the wind. Air resistance force. Car stopping. Friction. Man running, friction. Girl pushing a grocery cart, applied force. Yung car stopping, pwede ding applied force kasi nag-stop naman siya. Okay. So balikan natin yung kanina. Tingnan natin kung okay na siya. Bago natin pag-usapang yung effects of forces. Dito muna tayo sa net force. Dito muna tayo sa motion. Okay, yung kanina. Okay, ito po yung applied force. Okay, example na applied force. Maglalagay tayo ng object, ipupush natin siya. Ayan po. Gumagalaw po siya. Yan po yung applied force. Wait lang, maglagay tayo ng magaan dito. Yan, nilagay natin yung namagaan. Yan. So, mas mabilis yung paggalaw ng object. Kasi, yung force na binigay natin ay mas malaki doon sa mass ng object. How about sa friction? So, same. Wala tayong ginamit ditong vehicle or car or moving, yung parang may wheels. So dito, ang object lang talaga mismo. So ito yung tinatawag natin friction force. Mag-apply tayo ng force, gumalaw yung itong object dito. Ito yung surface. Ito yung object. Kapag nag-apply tayo ng force, yan, gumagalaw siya. At nagkakabanggaan dito. Applied force siya at the same time and friction force. Okay? So, dito, wait lang. Check ko tong isa. Okay, ito naman yung friction force para mas maintindihan nyo ng mabuti. So, ito po yung surface. Ito po yung object. Kapag nag-grab yan, o nagkaroon ng friction force, ayan, gumagalaw. Okay? Okay. Isa pa. Kapag yan, nirab natin yung object. So, gumagalaw. Nagkakaroon siya ng friction force. Okay? Okay, dito na tayo sa effects of forces. So, balikan po natin yung ito. So, dito tayo sa net force. So, ito yung magiging topic natin. Ito po yung object. Ito po yung force A and force B. So, pansinin nyo, lalagyan natin ng sum of forces, values, and speed. So, pansinin nyo kung ano yung mangyayari. Maglalagay tayo dito ng isang tao at isang tao dito. Pipindutin ko to kung saan gagalaw yung object. Saan mapupunta siya? Sa left o sa right? So, nakita naman natin dito, walang gumalaw. Okay? Nagdagdag ako dito ng isa. So, nakikita natin sa left na pupunta yung object. Wait lang. Magdagdag tayo. Okay? Return. Magdagdag tayo dito ng isa. Okay. Saan natin makikita? Saan natin sa gumagalaw yung saan papunta yung yung kariton na yan. O, di ba dito sa left? Return natin. Okay. So, same. Di siya gagalaw. So, kasi same yung force na dito sa left at saka sa right. Diba? Pero kung magdadagdag tayo dito sa right ng isa pa, so papuntang right, yung yung object, or red wings. Return ulit natin. And then yan. Go. For example, bawasan natin dito ng isa, dito ng isa, then dito ng isa, dito ng isa. So, depende sa force na nilalagay natin or yung amount ng force sa magkabilang side kung saan siya pupunta or saan gagalaw yung object. Ito yung mga tinatawag natin tension force. Okay? So, dito sa simulation na ito, pinapakita kung paano i-calculate yung force na meron dito sa force A at sa force B. So, ano ba yung effect ng forces? Okay, what are the effects of forces? So, a force can change the shape of an object. A force can move a stationary object. A force can stop a moving object. A force can change the direction of a moving object. And a force can slow down a moving object. And a force can speed up a moving object. So ito po yung mga epekto when we applied force in an object. Okay. Next, what are the effects of motion according to Isaac Newton? So objects that are at rest will remain at rest unless acted upon by a force. Siyempre, hindi naman gagalaw ang isang object kung hindi tayo nag-apply ng force. And effects on direction. Sabi ni Sir Isaac Newton, an object moving at the same speed and direction will continue moving at the same speed and direction unless acted upon by another force. So may involvement po dito ng hindi lang isang force kundi dalawang force. For example, yung kanina sa simulation. Diba? Pag nag-apply ka ng force sa isang object, gagalaw yan. Pero pag may nag-oppose na force, so makikita mo kung ano yung reaction ng object siya sa pupuntang direction. Diba? Or depende sa direction ng force acted upon the object. So how do we measure a force? So dun sa simulation, nakikita natin Newton. The strength of a force is measured in newtons. So gumagamit tayo ng spring balance para may determine yung force ng isang object. O yung lakas or strength of a force. Pwede tayong gumamit ng dynamometer. This is a basic machine used to measure force. There are many types of dynamometers with different methods of absorption, or receiving force, and measurement. But most typically, they receive force through a central rotor. The speed of the turn measures the force generated through friction, hydraulic or electromagnetic means. Next is shock watch stickers. Nalaglag yung aking. Sorry. Next is shock watch stickers. Shock watch stickers are used on sensitive equipment in shipping. So they are placed on the outside of a box or container. If subject to a sudden acceleration or impact, they will change color. So what are the effects of forces on movement? When we push a stationary object, it will move. Diba? The distance the object will move depends on how hard we push or pull it. The harder we push or pull, the farther the object moves. Siyempre, kung mas malaki or mas mataas yung force na binigay natin sa isang object, mas mabilis yung paggalaw niya or mas malayo yung mararating niya. Kung yung amount of force ay konti lang din yung paggalaw. Diba? So when two forces are acting on an object in a straight line or parallel line, then the net force is the sum of the two forces. The net force is called the resultant force. So yung nakita natin doon sa simulation. So if both forces are acting in the same direction, the object will move in the same direction as the forces. Kung parehas yung force or same lang naman yung direction ng force A at force B, sa isang direction lang siya mapupunta. At tulad ng 3N, meron yung force A and yung force B ay 4N naman. So to the right siya mapupunta. For example, 25N to the right plus 20N to the right. Ang resultant force niya or yung sum is 45 Newton to the right. Yan, ito po yung other examples. 25 Newton to the right and 20 Newton to the right is equal to 45 Newton to the right. Okay? So if both forces are acting in the opposite directions, with force A being greater than force B, the object will move in the direction of force A. So ibig sabihin, kung mas malaki yung force A kaysa doon sa force B, so yung direction ng object ay papunta doon sa direction ng force A. So katulad sa example na ito, 3N yung force B, 5N yung force A. So hanapin muna natin yung sum. Dahil opposite pala ito, hanapin natin yung difference. 5N minus 3N is equal to 2N. 2N to the right. Yan. For example, 10N minus 12N is equal to 2N to the right. Mas lamang kasi yung force sa kanan. Okay? If both forces are acting in the opposite directions with force B being greater than force A, the object will move in the direction of force B. Vice versa lang po ito. Kung mas malaki yung amount ng force sa kaliwa, doon pupunta yung object or doon gagalaw yung object. Okay, yung direction niya. Kung mas malaki yung force, yung right, yung force sa right na direction, doon mapupunta yung object. For example, sa left ay 6n, force B, force A ay 4n. So, i-subtract natin yan. 6n minus 5n is equal to 2n to the left doon sa force, yung force B. Direction ng force B. Yeah, 320n minus 300n is equal to 20n to the left. So if both forces are acting equally on the object in the opposite directions, the object will not move. Okay, the resultant force is 0. Kung parehas lang naman yung force or amount of force na in-apply ng force A at saka force B doon sa isang object, hindi siya gagalaw. Ang resultant force niya ay 0. 5n minus 5n is equal to 0. So let's have an activity. 500n minus 450 newtons is equal to 550 newtons to the left. Cardo pushes the box with a force of 70n while Little pulls it with a force of 30n. What is the net force? Where will the trolley move to? So, kita naman natin, it is quite obvious naman, diba? Na mas lamang yung kay Cardo, Delisay. So, subtract lang natin yung 70n and 30n. So, 40n to the left. Kay Cardong direction. Look at the pupils who are playing a friendly game, tug of war. The two teams are pulling the rope in opposite direction. Team A pulls with a force of 99, while Team B pulls with force of 73n. What is the net force? Which will win the match? So, medyo mahina tayo sa math, kaya gamitin calculator. Okay, calculator tayo. Asa muna tayo sa calculator. 99 minus 73. So, 26 and to the left, to sa Team A. Team A ang mananalo. Okay, let's do this. Find the net force or resultant force of each illustration. So, hindi ko to sasagutin. So, I will post this slides. Ang gagawin nyo lang po ay ipopost nyo ito. Sasagutan nyo yung each problem and i-share nyo yung answer nyo sa comment box. Okay, ready na? With a count of 1, 2, 3, start. Okay, ano yung net force dito at saan mapupunta? Okay, pause nyo lang, then share your answer in our comment box. How about this one? 10n to the left and 6n to the right. Saan mapupunta yung... okay, ano yung net force niya? How about this one? 75n and 125n. Ano yung resultant force? Pause nyo muna, sagutan nyo, solve nyo, then share nyo yung answer nyo sa comment box. Okay, next. 500 newtons and 500 newtons. Ano yung resultant force? Yan, nagsasagot yung mga aso sa likod, sa background natin. Ingay nila. Okay, 500 newtons to the left and 450 newtons to the right. So, anong sagot dito? Share nyo yung answer niya sa comment box. How about this one? 7n to the left and 10n to the right. Ano po yung net force niya? Oh, sabi ng aso. May sagot na yung aso. Okay, how about this one? Same yung direction niya. 5n and 5n. First A is 5n. First B is 5n. Okay, anong sagot dito? Saan pupunta yung, mapupunta yung box? Anong direction? At ano yung net force niya? This one. Force 1 is 20n to the left and force 2, 18 Newton to the right. Ano ang net force niya? O, share pag may time. Share nyo lang sa comment box. Pag mahiya. Okay? This one. Saan mo pupunta yung bola? Sa left or sa right? 10n to the left and 10n to the right, tas 15n to the left. So, saan mo pupunta yung ball? So, kindly find the net force. Then, share nyo kung ano yung sagot nyo. Okay, this one, 20n and then 10n plus 10n. May force A, may force B and C. Force B and C, papunta sila sa left. Okay, yung isa naman, yung 20n, papuntang right. So, ano yung resultant force dito? Pag mahiyang nag-share, share nyo sa comment box. This one, 50n plus 10n. And then, dito sa kabila naman, force C is 100 Newton. So, saan mapupunta yung yung volleyball? Yung ball na lang sa mapupuntang direction. Sa left ba o sa right? O share your answer in our comment box. Okay. So, these are my references. And I hope you learned something. See ya in my next video. Bye-bye.